Gold has been grinding in a 10-point range for the last 10 hours. Most traders looking at this chart right now see nothing, no trend, no signal, they are waiting. But here is what the volume profile and cumulative delta are telling us right now, and why I think this range is about to resolve to the upside with the US session open. I'm going to walk you through exactly, and I am seeing the weekly and monthly structure and delta story and the two targets I am watching. This is shadow edge trading. Let us get into it. Let us start with the biggest picture, the monthly volume profile. This month's gold sold off and went down to test the value area low of the last month around the 4,785 area. That is a significant level. The wall of the previous month represents the lower boundary of where 70% of the last month's volume traded. When price tests that level and holds, it tells you the market is still respecting prior month's value. Sellers tried to push below it, they failed. After that test, price recovered, but it ran into resistance at the VWAP of the last months, around 4,861. Think about what that means. The average price where all of the last month's participants traded. Anyone who bought above that level is underwater. Natural overhead supply. Price pulled back from that VWAP resistance, consolidated, then pushed back up to test it again. Found resistance again. Now we have pulled back once more to the VWAP of the current month. The structure reads like this: higher low, respect of prior month's vol to test prior month's VWAP. This is not a broken market. This is a market building a base. And right now price is sitting just below a very important confluence, the monthly point of control at 4,812. Almost the exact same price as the weekly point of control. 2 time frames, same level. That is not a coincidence. Now let us zoom into the weekly structure. This is where it gets interesting. This week value area vol at 4,800, value area high at $4,825, current price at 4,839. We are inside the value area. The market is balanced this week, no directional conviction yet. But look at the last week profile. Last week value area low was 4,785. This morning in the early session, price actually dipped below that level, below last week vol. And what happened? Buyers stepped in immediately. Price recovered. That reaction matters. That is not random. When price goes below a prior week vol and gets rejected, that is the market telling you value is higher. Sellers could not hold it down there. Since that low this morning, price has recovered and is now testing last week point of control and VWAP, both sitting around $4,815. It has been consolidating there for 10 hours. This is the decision zone. Last week vol or value area high is at $4,880. That is my first target if we break above current consolidation, and last week high around 4,910 is target 2. Now let us look at what the order flow is actually telling us beneath the surface. At the start of this week, the cumulative delta went deeply negative, down to minus 1,100. That means aggressive sellers dominated the early session, market orders hitting beats, institutional selling pressure. But here is what has happened since. Despite price barely moving, we have been in a 10-point range for 10 hours. The cumulative delta has completely reversed from minus 1130 all the way back to plus 700 right now. Think about what that means. Same price range, but the internal composition has flipped. Sellers exhausted, buyers absorbing. The delta is telling a completely different story than the price chart. This is the kind of signal that does not show up on a candlestick. You cannot see delta exhaustion on an RSI. This is exactly why order flow analysis gives you an edge that pure price action cannot. When I see price holding above a key level, last week wall at 4,785 and cumulative delta recovering from deeply negative to positive while price consolidate just below a point of control confluence, that is a setup. This is not noise. That is accumulation. So here is my read for the US session today. Bias bullish. The structure supports it. The key level to watch 4,812. The confluence of both the weekly and monthly poke or point of control. Price needs to accept above this level and hold. If we get a clean break and retest of 4,812 as support, that confirms the move is underway. Target 1, 4,880, last week value area high. This is the natural magnet. When price breaks out of the current week value area to the upside, it seeks the reference point from last week activity, that is 4,880. Target to 4,910 to 12, last week high. If we get continuation and the US session opens with volume, this is the extension target. What would invalidate this view? A break and close below 4,800 this week wall. If price loses 4,800 with conviction, the bias flips and we look at 4,785 again as the next test. But right now delta positive, structure respected, consolidation just below point of control confluence. With the US session about to open, the setup is there. That is the full gold analysis for today. Monthly structure, weekly levels, order flow story, and the two targets I'm watching into the US session. If this kind of analysis is new to you, volume profile, cumulative delta, order flow, and CME future, I break all of this down from scratch on this channel. Subscribe if you want to learn the professional framework. I post every market day. Follow me on Instagram and Telegram, links in the description. I share live market reads throughout the session. If you want to go deeper and learn this properly with private mentorship, DM me the word edge on Telegram. I have a limited number of coaching spots open this month. I will see you in the next one.